Buenas noches. Good night. It's hard to tell if there's anything left to guess anymore. We're all experts, we're all doctors, and we're all healers, and we're all always right. We all have nervousness for breakfast, self-sabotage for lunch, and a chakra alignment for dinner. And I am done reading the news feeds or reading between the lines, and I am done climbing ladders covered by snakes or jumping from cloud to cloud trying to catch 5G. And I am done feeding books to horses and taking arrows out of my chest, done using my blood as face paint. And I am done eating my oatmeal without honey. And I am done asking the sun to tell those pigeons to please shit away from my balcony. But what's the point if life has all become the same and nothing matters anymore? But I know I can still laugh at the weather and at the futile guesses of my distant heart's endeavors. I know that I can somehow predict the future because the future is now, and before was an oasis, a mirage built by a heat stroke too close to our belly buttons, the ones confining the lives we're carrying. And all I could do, if I had time, all I could do now that nobody's watching, I could play Tetris and shuffle the pieces until I break a world record. Or mix honey with bacon, add 2 fried eggs and make it look like a happy face. Or I could astral travel and ask my dead grandfather if in fact my mother won that fishing contest when she was 10. Or I could ask you about your tattoos and add words about our love story in the dictionary. And I could tell that folk singer that her voice and her guitar are the only living thing pulsating in this ghostland. And I could doubt every doubt upon my life-changing decisions, play scenarios in my head, while the only thing happening are these words in front of us, living and dying right here, right now. Or I could die of inspiration. I could act in action. I could levitate over a milk lake and land on a Cheerio. I could grab a silver spoon and make silly faces first thing in the morning. Or grab my mop and use it as a microphone stand and tell some jokes to the dust collective. Or prepare a karaoke for those stubborn pigeons in my balcony. And I could think about the things that went wrong and the ones that went right, and lick the wounds of a hurt, untold passion. Or I could write a novel about writing a novel and wonder if that could get me a Nobel. Or I could force a rhyme like that sentence I just said and refuge whatever is left of my madness inside the sun. Keep it away from my sanity, because what is sanity? Nothing more than a bullet stuck in the chamber of an invisible gun, a gun I take out every now and then when my mind sleeps to allow my body to speak. Or I could hold my breath, become a mandala, and breathe me back to my original shape. Or I could mix coffee with techno, hop on a hamster wheel and write poetry. And I can be deprived, confined, and restricted of everything, but I will not be. Buenas noches. My name is Hector. Please, a big round of applause to Elizabeth Gex on the violin. And thank you all for being here. And to all the organizers as well. 2 more points to go. talk about my identity in my second language. You want me to adapt my rolling R's and my smile and my bows to your tailor-made circus of pretension. You want me to tell you who I am, where I am from, and how my life lives as it pours out of my five senses. As if anybody could understand or explain existence so simply. My name is HECTOR. HECTOR Ayala III. A third-handed hand-me-down black label from an absent grandfather who had nothing to share except his emotional numbness, cataract blindness, and his banker stories. And I wish I had felt something on the day he died, but it was just another great day in Mexico City. And I wish that his next step to the afterlife had felt the way the fiddle of a violin feels over a tender chord about to break. Or glow the way an old photograph glows after realizing it has not yet been forgotten. Or sound the way the night sounds after a 12-hour shift. You want me to talk about my identity in my second language. It's an old credential to vote. With a childish signature and mold growing over my hungover face. The age reads 18. My first access to escapism, issued to get into bars, buy booze, and thinking about nightclubs, not thinking about fighting the corrupted attempt of democracy of my country. Identity is my name, HECTOR, a word. Identity is my country, Mexico, another word. Identity is my useless passport. It's the sunken ships buried underneath my father's eyelids. It is the smell of a damp, empty room next to the ocean in Cancun. It's the seashells and the childhood. It's the turtle skeletons buried underneath my brother's teeth. It's the bus ride my mom took to drop me off to school for the first time. Identity is the bleak hope we hold on to for our leaders. It's the accumulation of abuse. It's the wage gap, the denied visas, the border control. It's the way I sing, I dance, I clap and yell and tell my story to you all. It's the lightning hitting the kites, the lit candles, the lit light bulbs, all placed as birthmarks of the soil, all placed as an ocean of thorns, scattering over my heart, over my vast motherland. Identity is the first word of the morning. It is the gossip we keep telling ourselves about ourselves. Identity is your opinion about me. The fuckboy with the perfect smile. The Mexican too scared to be. The overthinker, people pleaser, judge a victim. The projections of his own self-deceiving avoidance of truth. Identity is a poet, the comedian, the engineer, the lone wolf in company, the hard worker, the slacking bee, the drag queen. It's a laughing heart, the crying heart, the sensitive heart, still doubtful of itself. Identity is the trauma bonds I keep choosing. It is my dark humor. It is the awareness of my shadow. Identity is the bittersweetness of the Latin American social and political mess. It's the childhood full of colors, flavors, joy and tragedy. It's the 5 o'clock news, the stray dogs, the kids in the streets turning junk into toys. It's the crazy ones, the ones speaking God's language, the shunned ones, the accepted ones, the ones laughing at hierarchies and at rules. Identity is the volcanoes, the ancient sacrifices, the earth's cloak after I cry. It is the temple of fire, the lotus, the flower, the connection, the desire, the locked up secrets. Identity is the fertile suns awakening and their moons crying for the first time. It's a mirror mirroring back reflections, light leaks of the universe, each and every single one of us. Identity begins as it ends. Our lives are a birth and our lives are a death. Our past is all eons, our present is moment, and our future, a box full of masks or a nest of ourselves awaiting their turn to come back to life. Identity is my archive, my photograph and my name, my words, my imperfections, my love and my disdain. It's where I am from, where I am, and where I am going to. Identity is me being myself, as much as I can be you too. Gracias, Madrecita. Gracias, Yage. Thank you, Mother Earth, for the wisdom, for the shedding of my skin, for the invitation, the history, and the love preceding our births. Thank you for your liberation, my liberation, and our liberation. Thank you for my ancestors, brave warriors carrying the songs of fire. Thank you for making me feel like a child again. A child that holds in his abacus the stars, the echo of the sky, the calmness of the trees, the blood of our roots, and all the teardrops that exist. A child who learned that the tears one sheds are everybody's tears. A child who borrowed the sun for a few eternities and learned that we know so much before we are born and we choose to forget. Thank you for liberating that child from his burden, for teaching him to trust other people and the pace everybody's walking their own path in. Thank you for the gift of death and for killing me. Thank you for showing me how to learn from and break my mirrors, for setting up a battle against control. Thank you for locking me in that prison of clowns, holding laughter captive within a dark rainbow. Thank you for tossing me into that labyrinth of external validation, into that cannibalistic madness of ridiculousness. Thank you for lifting the veil of paranoia, confusion, vulnerability, and untrustworthiness mixed with the most intense rejection and humiliation. Thank you for releasing jealousy, attachment, and hope, and for allowing me to see that all those ideas and their suffering are all an illusion created by my mind. Love and empathy must not come from fear of rejection. They must come from the most intense and selfless love, awaiting patiently for us to abolish the idea we have of ourselves. Thank you for the laughter, the voice, and the playfulness, for teaching me that I am as authentic as my laughing heart is. Thank you for playing hide and seek with fear, just to end up scaring it afterwards. Thank you for the indomitable snakes, for the roar of the jaguar, for the eagle. Thank you for my venadita, por mi venadita, for that love for her which equals the love for myself and for everything else. Thank you for your eternal night, kissing copal at sunrise, for the chant of Nezahualcóyotl, for the feathers of Quetzalcoatl. Thank you for liberating me from the pain of my grandmothers, for my mother and her humor, for my father and his recklessness, for my brother and his inner wars, for my own severe judge and my own scandalous victim. Thank you, gracias, por tu apapacho, for smiling at me when my ego was taking over. And now I trust your medicine. I trust my vocation, my sensitivity, and my beautiful emptiness. The sun does not have to tell anybody that it shines. Nor life is about being the best. It's about selflessly honoring that sanctuary in our hearts and recognizing it in everyone else. And if I want to keep learning how to love myself, I have to keep remembering where I am from. Navigate the paths with me as my pain sows the seeds of truth. We always had, have, and will have ourselves. Así que gracias, Madrecita, por este hermoso y misterioso regalo llamado vida. Muchas gracias, everybody.